Hi, I'm Andrew, and you're watching The Connect.
What initially drew you to acting?
I was always an athlete growing up, and like I played literally every sport. Um, and then I switched schools. I moved schools to a private school, and it was a mandatory class like performing arts, and we had to be acting or whatever. And it like seventh grade came along or something, and this girl I liked was in the musical, and I was like, all right, bet I'm in the musical now too. Like, sure. And I was like, so I auditioned, and I said, nah, you could just put me as whoever. But like deep down, like I really wanted like this lead character, and I obviously was like, I don't care, like whatever. Like I'm like a middle school jock. After I didn't get the part that I wanted deep down, I threw like a whole fit. And I was like, Mom, why didn't I get it? Like, oh my gosh. And she was like, because you didn't say you wanted it. And I was like, okay, bet. So then the next year in eighth grade, I auditioned for Aladdin, and I auditioned to be Aladdin, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and I like worked really hard. I guess to answer your question, what drew me to acting is a girl. A girl drew me to acting, but what really it was I kind of fell in love with the stage, and it was performing on stage, and then that was early on, and then in high school is kind of like understanding people and how to like convey something that can really affect someone, and that's kind of still true today. That's what continues to bring me back.
And did you ever take any classes or attend any camps that kind of helped you get into acting even more than that?
Yeah, I have an acting coach. I work with him. His name is John Ailes. He's the best. He's my guy. And then in high school, so the summer going into my senior year of high school, I joined this summer theater camp, I guess, and it's called Cherubs. It's at Northwestern, and that was so big for me acting wise, and also like growing as a person, because that's like kind of the pinnacle point, at least for me, I guess. It was like a pinnacle point in where I was transitioning from like a high school kid into like being kind of like a man growing into the world in college.
What do you say the biggest takeaway you learned from Cherubs was?
The biggest thing was figuring out what technique works for me and what technique doesn't work for me. Probably bigger than that was to deal with people that didn't, love me from the jump, like directors or people I was working with, and kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna still do what I have to do, and I'm not gonna make it a big thing. I'm not gonna be some crazy guy. No, like it's acting, it's work, and we're gonna have to do the work. And we're not gonna have to like bicker and complain about it.
How do you go about preparing for an audition?
So I always do this like breathing exercise where it's like in for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, in for 8 seconds, out for 8 seconds, and then in for 12, out for 12. So I do that, and that centers me. And then depending on the part, like, I always do my research. So I figure out who's a part of the project, what type of character they want, who they want, who else is attached to the projects. And then like if it's a spin-off or something, I go watch the movie or show or whatever, or if it's already a show that's out, then I watch the show. Researching that breathing technique or something that I always do, because both of those things make me feel comfortable.
And that's good that you're kind of going outside of like this individual character, that you're looking at the whole thing, because you'll be like an integral piece. Like you'll be a cog in the clock. making sure
Yeah.
everything's in. That's
Yeah,
really dope.
exactly. And I think that's a big part too, because, you know, I could do like so much research about this character, but like, and I think it's like such a hard drama, and it turns out like it's a comedy. And like if I looked at everyone else and if I read the script, like I would have figured that out.
With the breathing technique that you brought up that it keeps you centered, and like that whole process, the things that you do like make you feel comfortable. So like, are there any hobbies or things that you do to keep yourself centered, and like have you found yourself doing those things more throughout the pandemic as well?
Yeah. I just picked up during quarantine. I was just picked up like biking a lot. Also like for training and stuff, but that's kept me like, it's weirdly, well, not weirdly, like of course it's free. Like I would bike, I don't even know how many miles, but I would be biking like a long time. That was something where if my head was, you know, somewhere else that day, it would always bring me back. And also working out. Like I didn't really work out a lot in high school. I mean, like I played tennis and I, you know, played other sports, but I never was like, all right, let me bench, let me do this. But I just started doing that a lot over quarantine, and that has been like really good for my head. It's like it puts you in the mentality, not only with like, oh, like I'm working out, like it's gonna make me feel good, like I'm gonna look good. It rewires for me at least, it rewired my brain into doing everything I can to be the best person that I can be. Those two things. Obviously the tennis court, but that's also a form of work for me.
Going with the whole pandemic that we're going through, do you like, as an actor, do you think that will shift the way that projects are now developed and like people go about filming?
Oh, I'm sure it will. I think that with the audition process, it's completely, well, it's not completely different, but everyone's doing self tapes now. That's completely changed. I had callbacks that were over Zoom. Like it's just a completely different feel, because also like as an actor or in an audition room, you're trying to charm the people that you're auditioning for, and it's not the easiest thing to charm someone over Zoom. Like it's not that fun. With self tapes, it's also good because you can pick the take that you like and you can work it. So, but also it can be tough to find someone to shoot it with you. But there are pros and cons. But I think that's going to be the biggest, well, booking things before you even get to the project. I think that's going to be a completely different feel. And then going to like the films and TV and stuff, and how that's going to be done. I think people are going to start writing for smaller casts, smaller crews, not as many big budget films or TV shows. So it's a bit more intimate and safe. But I mean, it's tough because you could start shooting and then it's going to all come to a stop because of COVID.
Speaking of things like having to stop, heartbroken about Grownish getting like pushed back.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone's just like still waiting for.
Yep.
You know.
We're waiting. Well, we finished in October, I think, filming the whole season. So just the second half of this season's coming out. It'll be fun when it comes out.
So excited. So can you tell us who was the first person you told that you booked the role, like after you booked it?
So I didn't even know I booked the role. I knew I was close. I knew I was like in discussions for it, and then like deals were being made, and I was kind of like in the dark about it. Like my mom was like handling it, and I was like, I just want to know. And she was like, honey, like if you don't get it. I was like, if I don't get it, I don't get it. I don't care. And I was like super neurotic and crazy about it. And my mom, she woke me up and she told me, and I like cried, and it was very emotional. But
oh, we love that. A little momager moment right there.
Literally, yeah, she's the best. But yeah, I mean, I guess the first person I called and told, I'm guessing probably my acting coach, to thank him, because he was a huge help. because I'd only been auditioning for film and TV. I'd only been auditioning for like 4 months at that time. So it was like he kind of got me to a place of understanding how to interact with the camera and how to be in the audition room. He was a tremendous help. So I'd probably called him first, I think.
And from your perspective, what can you tell us about your character, Rodney?
I think, I think he's a pretty cool guy, Like, I think he's super smooth. I think he's on top of it. And I think his family stuff is pretty interesting. It has a lot of, makes him kind of super, into himself rather than just so expressive. But yeah, he's an interesting character because he bounces off of Sky really well. Because they're, opposites attract, and they obviously attract. So yeah, I mean, it's also a big shock that he's white. So there's that.
That was a moment, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole storyline was so important. Like, love really should conquer all. Like, I've been in relationships with people where their parents got involved because I was Black or because I was Jewish, and like, I mean, that's different than me being white and her not wanting to date. But it's kind of like in the same way. It's like people should understand that, like, you can't. If someone loves someone, if someone likes someone, what makes it wrong for them to feel how they naturally feel? I think it was an important message to send, because interracial couples are very beautiful. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I think it's an imperative thing. Culture is being spread. It's just peace, love, and positivity right there.
So now we're starting to like see these interracial couples. I think it's such an amazing thing because like it reflects our society and what the world is like actually like,
Exactly. And I was thinking about it. If you really look at a lot of these films, a lot of films in general, and a lot of TV shows, you start to look at your life in the same way, and about all the different races, sexuality, gender, whatever, all of it, it's just like this in your real life, right? But if you look at like some of these high school movies or these college movies or shows or whatever, or even just in general, a lot of it is very like, okay, these are white people, these are Black people, these are Latino people. Like, it's like, actually, bro, it's like this. Everyone is there together. Like, also because I'm mixed, like, I go out for roles that are, a Black kid or a white kid. Like, I'm not like, I could play either, I guess. I could play either, but they're like, oh, you're not Black enough, or oh, you're not white enough. And it's like, okay, I get it.
You should like hop over from grownish to mixedish just for like a quick little appearance. Like, I'm here. Was there a time that you like were ever nervous, just because it seems like there were just a lot of people and you're surrounded by a lot of dope, talented people as well? Yeah. Or were you just comfortable because like everyone was super accepting?
Well, everyone was literally so sweet. Like, it's our cast, we are a family. But my first day, I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. It was my first scene with Halle, or actually it was the second scene in the first episode of the season, my second scene. And I was so nervous, but Halle she's the sweetest thing. So it was super easy. I was really nervous for that, but then after the first day, everyone was super sweet. They made it really easy for me. I only got nervous another time, but that was just, I was really nervous to kiss Halle. That was a very nerve-wracking thing, because I'd never done like a kissing scene in film before. The camera was like right here, but like I didn't even notice the camera because we were so like that. I was very nervous. Such like an actor thing to say, like I didn't even notice the camera, like we were just so into it.
Did you ever feel like there was just any awkwardness because of a disconnect from your character, or you were just able to truly get into that mindset?
There was never really an awkwardness for me because I kept on riding on the whole idea and the whole reason of Rodney. The whole reason that he's there is because this needs to be seen. People need to understand, like, interracial love is okay. That's okay. Loving who you want is okay.
So this guy's dating a white guy?
No way.
Yeah.
He gotta be like Creole or something, right?
Nope, he's definitely white. Look at the shoelaces. Choking his ankles.
So I kept on riding on that, and it was never really an awkward experience because I thought that the message needed to be heard, and that's what I was kind of like helping push me through. Grownish does such a good job of relaying several different messages. Like if you watch Grownish, they bring up so many different topics about race, drugs and alcohol, getting a job after college, like all these things that are so difficult and so interesting for today, for kids now. We're going through it, but it's important for people to see that, and I think that Grownish just does such a good job about really clearly relaying a message.
What is the main piece of Rodney that you've kept with yourself?
Well, I think he's pretty freaking cool. Like he's a cool guy. I don't know. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Whoa, very chill. Like I would be friends with Rodney.
Yeah, I know. He's like my guy. Like I'd be friends with that guy too. But like, I think he's very confident. Not in the way where it's like, yeah, I'm confident who I am. Like I'm confident in this, I'm confident in that. But I think he's confident I think he is confident in who he is enough to the point where like he could have easily let Sky been like, yeah, I don't want to date people outside of my race, and he could have been like, okay, bye. Or like, yeah, exactly. Or like he could have just been like what he did, like, no, like I really like you. Like I don't see a reason for that to die.
I think I figured out what's been bothering me. It's their connection.
What does their connection have to do with us?
Theirs is rooted in a shared cultural experience because both of them are Black. We'll never have that. And no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to get past it.
Wow. Well, guess you figured it out then.
But the other thing that I can't seem to get past is how much I like you and how much I can't stop thinking about you.
So which side outweighs the other?
So I think I think I kept that with me.
So you were at Chapman. How have you been able to balance college courses and acting?
Well, it's been tough. I originally I was still filming Grownish in the fall, and that was my first semester of college. And it was tough at first, and I was having trouble. But it's really just, you gotta be on top of your stuff. And if you're not, you're gonna be screwed. And you have to be in communication with your teachers. So first semester, I wasn't really in communication with my teachers, and I didn't do well at all. I did terrible. But we switched it up for the next semester, and I did really well, and I got like the best grades I've gotten in a long time.
For you, sir, you're just casually on your school's tennis team, just casually a collegiate athlete. So that's another thing on top of it. What? Can you please tell us, can you take us through a day in the life of Andrew Liner, where acting, college, and just being, college athlete, just
yeah, I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you the pre-COVID and then after COVID. So pre-COVID, I'd have classes and they'd end at like 1 or something like that. And then I'd have like a few minutes to eat. So then I'd eat and either go to an audition that's like that we're doing with the film school, or I'd just rest a little bit. And then I'd go to tennis, and tennis would be like 3 hours, but I'd play from like 3 to 7, 7-ish, 7:30-ish. First person there, well, I'd like to think. Maybe by me saying this, my teammates watching, but no, he wasn't, but I was. I think I was the last person there almost always. So tennis, and then after tennis, I'd work out, and after working out, I'd start my homework and hopefully finish before midnight. That's pretty much the day at school. And then after COVID, it was have class in the morning, and then I would be training at home, not at home, but like in LA. And so I'd be training with my coach, and then I'd do strength training, and then cardio, and then homework and auditions. That's pretty much the day if I'm not goofing around.
How long have you been playing tennis for?
I've been playing tennis since I was 7 years old.
Like a family thing that got you into it? You just like you saw one time like that?
Yeah, I mean it was kind of like my brothers and I, we played when we were little, a little bit. Like we knew how to swing and stuff. And then my mom took me to my coach, who's still my coach today, John Nieder, and we like worked one time when I was like 7, and then I kind of got the bug for it. My dad always told me not to quit anything, so I never quit.
I went to like a few of my friends' tennis matches, and I come from like a volleyball and track background, so like you're allowed to be loud and cheer everyone on, but like I got a few stares, not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing, but that's a beautiful thing about college tennis. Like you can be, I don't know if you've been to any of the SC matches, but like they're crazy and it's so fun. Like it's so hype. And like we're at Chapman, we're all loud. We're all pumping each other up. I mean, we've gotten yelled at a few times, but it's okay. But yeah, no, it's like tennis etiquette or whatever. But like, I mean, I come from like basketball, football. I play baseball. I play some volleyball too. Like, I'm gonna cheer people on if they need to be cheered on. Like,
right. That's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a go-to Chloe and Halle song to like get yourself hyped for a match?
Ooh, what song of theirs do I like to get me hype for the match? It's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot the name. How bad of me, I forgot the name.
You could hummel or sing a little.
I forgot how it goes, but Halle sings really high and really beautifully. I'll get back to you. I'll find it.
Okay. Or even just like, what's like a Chloe and Halle song that you've been just playing on repeat recently?
Do it. It's just so good.
Were there a lot of like, music sessions on the set as well?
Well, everyone's, if you look at the cast, like literally everyone is musical. Like Diggy is great. Trevor is ridiculous. Like Trevor's stupid good. Oh, wonder what she thinks of me.
Going off with like the cast just as it is, like everyone's been pretty vocal about this election, and like being a first-time voter, like so many other newish college students, what message would you like to share with them regarding exercising their right to vote?
I think that it's pretty evident now that we need to vote. There are so many things that are wrong with this election. Well, not the election, but like with this specific candidate. Unarguable things. Not condemning white supremacy. That's an unarguable thing. The blatant sexism, it's an unarguable thing. Among a bunch of other things. Killing people, the coronavirus, he killed people. Subconsciously or Indirectly, he killed people, a lot of people. I think it's imperative to vote. I was thinking about this today. I think everyone's saying like, vote, vote, vote. I think it's imperative to vote for Biden and Harris. I don't think it's imperative to vote, because if you're going to vote for Trump, then don't. But if you're going to vote for Biden and Harris, I think it's imperative. My message to them is, it's really not that big of a hassle to vote. Just vote for Biden, vote for Harris. I voted on my birthday. I was like, yeah, the ballot came in. We went through all the props. We went through everything. We're like, yeah, okay, vote. Let's vote. We voted.
And you kind of brought up something where it's like, we will be seeing change, and like a lot of that will probably come from like our generation. And what do you hope that we're gonna like achieve for this country or change potentially?
What do I hope for? Well, I hope for more awareness. The anti-Semitism that still runs within this country is ridiculous. So I hope for that to change. I hope for education to change. Like, you grow up, we learned about Christopher Columbus and we celebrated him. Like, that makes zero sense.
Have you met like other like super creative people that have just like re-energized you?
Yeah. So at Chapman we have BSU, which I'm sure is at a bunch of other colleges, but my big in BSU, like, we have a whole like friend group. We're all creatives. We all do music. We all do some sort of thing in film, or we all work in some aspect of art, and it's the best. It's the best. You just see so much, like, you see a lot of yourself in other people, which is awesome, because it's like, oh, you like that too? Like, oh, bet. Like, your favorite movie is like blah blah blah. Like, dope, me too, which is crazy. For me, like, college is a place where you're making connections for later in life, and especially for us, I guess, as people in like top 4 film schools in the country. Like we are literally talking, hanging out in class with the next filmmakers of tomorrow.
It's mind-blowing to be like, you might just be sitting next to someone in some meeting, and you better talk to them, because you never know where they're gonna end up, and like, you never know where you're gonna end up. I'm trying to network constantly, because I have this like dream in my head of what I want to do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I stay in contact with you, because I might need you later on in life. And what's your major? Just wondering.
I'm a screen acting major, but I'm gonna switch my major to creative producing, so that I can learn how to create my own stuff eventually.
Oh, so is that something that you found yourself like interested in? Like, is it more like a directing thing, or like producing?
It's a little bit of all of it. It's learning how to it's learning the business side, I guess you could say, some of the business side of the film industry, but it's also learning about pitching projects, how you're going to get your own project produced, producing your projects, just certain things that you can get studios to bite for. Like, learning that, like, yes, your film could be amazing, it could be perfect, but it could be the wrong time for your film. So learning stuff like that. That's kind of also, I wanted to do that major because I think that eventually I want to be able to produce my own stuff. I want to be able to do my own things. Like, if you look at a lot of the great actors today, like Jake Gyllenhaal, DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, like, a lot of these guys produce films, which is amazing. But yeah, that's kind of the big reason why I feel like and obviously I'm still studying acting. I'm reading about it every day. I'm working with my coach, and like, I'm never gonna stop training and learning, because I think education with that stuff is so important. But I also know that I don't know much about the other half. which I want to learn more about.
Have you ever, thought about like, oh, what would be like a cool thing to like eventually do? Like, have you thought of, because I know I've even like, in my mind, I've written like whole entire movies and produced.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like that too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's for me, I think it's about like what we were talking about earlier. I think it's like writing a film or a TV show with a bunch of different ethnicities, a bunch of mixed people, a bunch of people of different races and backgrounds and gender and all that stuff. And I think that needs to be out there, and it can be a normal show, like it can be like a normal script or whatever, with a plot line that doesn't pertain to like race or doesn't pertain to like sexuality. Like it can just be like a regular high school drama or like a whatever. But I think that's imperative. And then I was also I was in African American studies last semester, I think, and I wrote this like short story, and I think that'd be a fun story to tell.
Well, thank you so much for doing this virtual interview. This was so awesome. Probably, I think you're the first actor I've like ever interviewed. So thank you for that.
Oh, amazing. More to come, sure.